These conference championship games have helped you in the past. Now you're not going to have one. Other conferences are. Is it going to hurt you?
I don't know. We play such a tough non-conference schedule that I don't know that it will. And that's another advantage of our philosophy and the fact that we have played a lot of tough teams out of conference. So I think in the end that'll still help us. It doesn't seem to have hurt a lot of teams here this year or in some other years that haven't had championship games. The Pac-10 hasn't had one yet forever, and nor has the Big Ten, and they seem to have been in the championship hunt, through the years.
Do you miss playing in a postseason game to decide the championship?
Well, I said this a couple times already this week. The fact this year, where I'm sure Bo probably feels the same way I do, that we're not, if you're not in there in the top 1, 2, 3 in the national championship picture, for instance, there's been many other years we've been looking at the national championship game after this. So that, and other teams that are going to be in it with you aren't playing. They're sitting at home and relaxing while you got this huge game in front of you. You don't like it. And you think, why in the world are we doing this? And these kind of years, it's exciting as heck. I mean, it's what you want. You really look forward to it. And it's a special environment to play in. Your players are excited, fans are. So these kind of years, you really want it. So it's kind of a catch-22 depending on the year you're having.
Well, they've got a unique player in Rex Burkhead, high school quarterback, I think, and he plays several different things, especially in that Wildcat. Can you talk about defending him?
Yeah, he's a multiple threat guy. Runs really well. You look at all-purpose wise, he's got big numbers for their football team. So in the end, it gets down to discipline to defend gaps, to be smart on our alignments. The possibilities of the run game with them, and then no matter who it is, they always have some play action passing off of it that you've got to read your keys if tight ends are releasing or wherever the receivers are going, that you pick them up and are ready to defend it. So it's something that we'll work hard on this week.
If you do have to go back to use those bigger guys, defensive tackles, Casey Walker coming along fine.
He is.
And Daniel Noble.
I don't see, no, Daniel won't be back, but Casey Walker's better and better. All those guys are. And, yeah, and that it kind of fit last week's, the fact that they're so spread out and throwing the ball so much. But, Nebraska's a different story with the big guys they play with. They play with a lot of tight ends, big tight ends, and that kind of thing. So, long yardage, we've always been in it a little bit, but the other parts of it, and just like last week when Oklahoma State had their tight ends in heavier sets on the field, we were in our traditional sets with bigger guys, and so we'll prepare that way, just like we always have.
You've told us several times in the past about Landry Jones compares favorably with other quarterbacks you've had. That was before he was poised to win a Big 12 championship. I guess he's going to be the sixth if you guys are fortunate enough to win.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Could you now compare maybe some of those guys, some of the characteristics that those other guys have that are similar to what Landry has?
Yeah, he's got a huge arm. He's got a quick release. What I love here in the last probably half of the season, he's really feels his way in the pocket really well. Has really been stepping up and buying himself more time in a good way. He's smart on what he's doing. So in the end, he's had a big year. Who would have expected him to lead the league in all the categories he is, or to be at the top one or two in about everything, and touchdown passes as well. So he's had a big year, and couldn't be more pleased. His attitude, toughness, everything that he does.
Does still fit right in that mold with Paul and with Nate and Josh. And
Jason and White and Sam, and absolutely. How could he not? Compare him statistically. On top of the fact that he's going after a championship like they all did.
Is that something, his pocket presence, is that something that you've seen Coach Heupel really work with him on in practice, something he really has tried to develop?
Well, it's something I think, yes, and experience. But Coach Heupel does a great job developing fundamentals, footwork, those kind of things. And so that is part of watching tape and where he can buy time, feeling pressure, and where to step up. And so I'm sure, Coach Heupel is very diligent about how he's teaching them and coaching them. And look at his track record with all the quarterbacks he's had. It's pretty amazing.
Landry said Saturday night how proud he was of himself. He was grinning ear to ear just to go into that situation in the fourth quarter and proved that he could do it, how much confidence can that breed in himself? Because he seemed like he was a more confident player after the game.
It'll bring him a lot of confidence, and you never know. All quarterbacks, Peyton Manning the other days in that situation. I mean, it's going to happen here and there. You're not going to, a guy makes a good play, gets you here or there. You got to keep playing ball. For us, there's 107 plays. You could have 3 bad ones. The other 104 are pretty decent. You're going to be on the better side of it, which he was. He threw 4 TD passes and threw 2 in the fourth quarter when we really had to have them. And that ball he throws to Cameron Kinney, he steps up in the pocket and he throws a strike. As if it's low, bobbled behind him, he's going to get caught. And he hit him right in the face mask, never broke stride, and that helps Cameron beat everybody into the end zone.
With the question marks surrounding Marco, what does that do to you in changing anything offensively?
It won't. Roy Finch has had a great year for us, young back, freshman, and then Moses Madu, a couple of years ago had a big Big 12 championship game against Missouri where he rushed for 125, 30 yards, and he's got experience. Brennan Clay, young guy also. So we'll go with all those guys if need be. I would expect him to, but we'll see.
Bob, we've been pretty good at asking him why he struggle in certain situations. Conversely, you never struggle in the Big 12 championship games except for one time. 6-1. Why have you played so well in these games?
Players have made plays. The players deserve the credit. They've stepped up in this game, and we've had good teams, and players have made plays. So sometimes it's fair to say maybe we've had a overall better talent or better team than someone else and played that way. Or, every game's different. All those other teams are different. So and there's a lot of times, for whatever reasons maybe we have had better teams in some cases, going into that game and played that way. And other times where they've been a little more evenly matched, we've played well. Guys have made plays when they had the chance.
Following up on that, you make those plays there, and you do in Bedlam seemingly every year. How much of that is that it's happened here so much in the past, and other parts just making plays?
Yeah, it's guys expect to, but you have to do it. I'm always very leery of, you want those expectations, you want to feel confident, but you also know every year is different. You have to make it happen, and so prepare yourself in practice and in the way you approach the game, but to be ready to do it again. Don't take it lightly. It's there's a lot of work that goes into making those plays. I don't know. We haven't played them yet, so I'm not much on rating other teams from past years in Big 12 championships. So they look like they're a really tough physical team like they were a year ago. That's a better comparison as a year ago because it's close enough to compare. So they're a tough physical football team that plays really well and disciplined in how they play.
What's Austin Bachman believe is his defense?
He's been a big plus. Austin has experience and it's showing. Once he's back into form and shape and coming off the injury, he's really done a great job of making just some of the defensive calls, checks, alignments, and he's played well. Tackling and making big plays. So it's been a huge plus for us having him back.
We think of the classic OU Nebraska games, think of cold weather, maybe snow. Now you're going to be playing in a climate-controlled spaceship. Is that something you look forward to, playing in that kind of arena, stadium?
Yeah, sure. Whatever it takes, but we'll play anywhere. We played them a few years ago up in Kansas City in the cold and snow, and that was fine too. But I'm sure this will be a little more pleasant for everybody sitting in the stands.
Brigham Young, were you like everybody else that goes to that stadium? Do you find yourself watching the big screen instead of the field?
Not really, not much. I only look when it's replays. If somebody's out of the gap or missed a block, where I'm looking up to see who it was or why that happened. To see the replay of positioning of a certain block or something. Not really. You don't want to be picking your nose, that's for sure.